Episode 1: The Scourge's Whisper and the Soldier's Rage. The training yard and the city's unease. The air in Eldoria was thick with heat and anxiety. People hurried through the cobblestone streets, their faces reflecting the growing fear of the void scourge, a creeping shadow said to be consuming the land's borders. In a dusty, overlooked training yard, a young man named Ryan, god of war, sparred fiercely with two large, seasoned mercenaries. He was only 18, but his movements were precise, brutal, and utterly without waste. He moved with a warrior's instinct, something he'd never been taught. Again, Ryan demanded, his breath ragged, his grip on his practice sword white-knuckled. One mercenary scoffed. "You'll break yourself, kid. Why the urgency?" Ryan stopped, his eyes distant. "I don't know," he admitted, a restless fire burning beneath his skin. "It feels like I'm supposed to be somewhere else, doing something important." Suddenly, the ground beneath them shuddered. A low, guttural moan echoed from the city's outskirts. It wasn't thunder. It was a sound of deep, primal violation. Ryan's eyes snapped to the horizon, where a column of unnatural black smoke was rising. "The Scourge," whispered the mercenaries, their bravado gone, replaced by terror. "The forest healer." Miles away, near the ancient Sunstone Forest, a kind-hearted healer named Phelan, god of fairies, was tending to a small community of woodcutters. She wore simple linen. She was known throughout the valley for her healing touch, a simple gesture often closing grievous wounds. She knelt by a woman suffering from a mysterious, chilling sickness. As Phelan placed her hands over the woman's forehead, a subtle golden light pulsed from her palms. A faint, sweet scent filled the air, and the sickness receded. "Thank you, Phelan," the woman sighed, relief washing over her. "You're a miracle." Phelan smiled gently. "I just listen to what the life energy needs." Just then, a wave of despair, cold and vast, washed over the area. Phelan clutched her chest, the pain momentarily stealing her breath. She looked toward Eldoria, her usually serene face filled with sudden, intense sorrow. "The balance is breaking," she whispered, her hands instinctively reaching out to the nearest trees. The leaves on the branches closest to her turned a brilliant, protective green. She knew, with a certainty that defied her human memory, that she had to go to the source of the distress. The first awakening. The void scourge didn't sneak into Eldoria. It smashed its way through the old eastern wall. Twisted, shadowy beasts, corrupted animals, and dark, insectoid horrors poured into the streets. Ryan was there instantly, grabbing a sturdy steel sword from a panicked guard. He didn't hesitate, diving into the fray. His training kicked in, but it was more than skill, it was divine muscle memory. He moved like a one-man army, defending a cluster of civilians. But the monsters were too numerous, their hides too tough. Ryan was knocked back, his sword arm numb. A hulking, six-legged beast loomed over him, its jaws dripping acidic saliva. "This is it, ... Ryan thought. "No, I won't lose. I promised." The thought of a promise that wasn't his own flashed through his mind. Suddenly, a wave of incandescent red-hot energy surged through his body. His mundane steel sword began to glow, heating the very air around it. Ryan roared, the sound deeper, richer, and more commanding than any he'd made before. He brought the glowing blade up in an arc. The dark energy felt heavy, but the fire in his soul was heavier. "Stand aside." The blade, now wreathed in crimson flame, cleaved through the giant beast as if it were parchment, the fire cauterizing the wound and dissolving the creature into dust. Ryan stood amidst the silence, his face streaked with soot, his armor smoking, his eyes burning with the ancient fury of the god of war. The reunion. The flash of crimson light from Ryan's awakening was a beacon across the plains. Phelan, moving faster than any ordinary person could, ran toward it, a sense of immediate recognition pulling her like a tether. She arrived at the devastated wall just as Ryan was facing the next wave of monsters, still trembling from the raw power he'd just unleashed. He was a beacon of crimson, but the exhaustion was setting in. Before Ryan could be overwhelmed, Phelan raised a hand. The air around her shimmered. She wasn't carrying a staff, but as she concentrated, a brilliant golden staff, topped with a shimmering butterfly sigil, materialized in her grasp. "Let the light protect you," she commanded, her gentle voice ringing with an unheard, ethereal authority. A field of shimmering, golden energy, the ancient magic of the god of fairies, erupted from the staff, slamming into the wave of monsters. The darkness shrieked as the pure, vibrant energy repelled it, the creatures recoiling from the light that was anathema to their very being. Ryan stared at the mysterious woman and the impossible staff. He didn't know her, yet his soul recognized her. Phelan turned to him, her eyes soft but resolute. "You were too reckless, Eric," she said, using the name of the ancient god. She didn't know where the name came from. "Rest now. We have a war to win." Ryan stared back, the name feeling like a piece of his lost self. "And you are?" "I don't know my name yet," she replied, gripping the staff. "But I know we are connected. We are needed." The two reborn gods stood side by side, the warrior of crimson fire and the healer of golden light, facing the encroaching darkness. The journey of the four had begun. The next episode is next Saturday.